Good morning and welcome to Weekends with Whitney. We are with the General, one of the most iconic cars of television. And this is going to make history. And right now, I'm going to make a little bit of my own history. I think, if I can get in this thing. Oh boy. It's part of what's coming up in today's show. Didn't wear the right shoes, all that good stuff. But we'll show you why I'm getting into this coming up. Also on today's show, Louisiana's Courtney Cole. How this country music artist is empowering education. Then DR.NICK explains why in making big decisions, we may be going about it all the wrong way. But first,
single barrel top shelf whiskey. Throw me on your tab, it's just me and my girlfriend. Me and my girlfriend.
Louisiana's Courtney Cole opened for music superstars Kenny Chesney and Miranda Lambert. This rising star recently felt more like a falling star.
This past year was really intense for me. I, was opening up for Miranda Lambert and Kenny Chesney and doing that whole thing, and then within just a couple weeks, I had lost my songwriting deal. The contract ended, and then my manager and I parted ways. I ended like a 15-year back and forth relationship. It was just everything kind of came to a close.
Instead of crashing, she took the wheel, even becoming an Uber driver to pay the bills.
If you would have told me a year ago that I'd be where I am right now, I would have cried. And don't get me wrong, I have cried. 2017 has been a little brutal.
It wasn't always a rocky road. Courtney's drive for music started at 3.
My mom remembers like me being in the back of the car seat and just like singing at the top of my lungs, like in the car seat. And she's like, I think we have a singer. And then it just stuck. When I was 5 years old, my parents put me on stage at a church talent show, and me and my dad, we lip sang Sonny and Cher, and like the crowd clapped for me, and I was like, I love this. And I just kept doing it. My parents ended up putting me in voice lessons when I was 10, and I did a lot of musical theater.
She was inspired by her school, the New Orleans Center for Creative Arts, and the city itself.
Louisiana, I always say, just has like a different vibe than any other place in the world. They're so creative. I feel like growing up in New Orleans, I was introduced to such a diverse culture. You know, I sang in church, so gospel music. I was around Zydeco music. I was around jazz music. And then I loved pop music and I loved country music. So I just had like all of this that was just festering up in me.
It steered her to Nashville, to Belmont University, on world-famous Music Row.
It was really important for me to finish a 4-year degree. I studied music and music business, and then because of the internship program through my college, I worked at a record label and a publishing company, and that's what led to my first songwriting deal.
Guess how much this drink was? Free 99. Free 99. Free 99. Don't have to pay a dime when you're looking so fine. Free 99. Free 99.
It just felt like the beginning of something really cool, because I really wasn't that much of a songwriter, in college or in high school. I had done a little bit of it, and then just really worked hard. Once I started working at a publishing company and seeing how songs were written, I was like, I can do this. And so I'd work 9 to 5, and then I'd write from 6 to whenever, and just would get better and better at it until finally I got signed.
Soon she got national exposure as a contestant on CMT's Next Superstar. Her song Drunk gave her even more traction.
Got a mountain view inside of my head. I woke up on the right side of the bed. Coolest song on the radio. Friday payday, so I ain't broke. I love him and he loves me. So why do you think I'm buzzing? Yeah.
Her star was rising. Spotify and the Huffington Post named her Artist to Watch in 2015. CMT chose her as one of the next women of country. Her songwriting flourished. What's the secret to writing a good song?
That it comes straight from the heart, and that it's in some way or another your truth. I think as a song or an artist especially, just being able to communicate that, I feel like that's what draws people in and it allows them to relate to you.
What do you think is more important, the words or the melody?
They're both so important because, words make you feel, so does a melody. If you hear a beautiful melody, it can bring you to tears, it can make you feel super happy. I think they go hand in hand. Yeah. I think the melody enhances powerful lyric.
Then last year, in a 2-week span, Courtney's world crumbled.
The love of my life devastatingly broke my heart for someone else. My manager and I parted ways, and my publishing deal came to an end, and I had no income. And the next week, I was driving Uber.
Often 2 shifts a day.
I just finished my second shift of Ubering, and I am tired, to say the least. It has been a long day. My life feels like a song that's being written and rewritten. I thought by now I'd be married, have a baby or two, and have some awards on the shelf, but my song obviously doesn't go like that.
So Courtney composed a new future. She left Nashville for Los Angeles. She documented her journey in a self-produced YouTube series, Rockumentary. It's a raw, honest window into her world.
I'm freaking out so much today. I just feel so much fear. I feel myself like second guessing. I'm just hoping I made the right choice to come out here.
For me, fear in its true jerk form has a way of rushing in like a tidal wave. Like, what's gonna happen? Will people respond to my emails? Will I have enough money? Will people want to write with me? Will I even get good songs? The list goes on. It literally consumes every part of me so much that I can't see anything else but fear itself. All around me, in everything. I literally was so proud of myself several years ago when I was able to fully make a living on just music, and now I'm going to have to support myself while I'm here in LA because, I have to afford to live.
Difficult, discouraging weeks followed. Then, opportunity. Courtney opened for Easton Corbin.
Some tour buses. Huh, must be nice. Oh, hi! Look who I just came across. How you doing there, Easton Corbin?
Good, right? How are you?
It's gonna be a good show tonight. Yeah. It's gonna be amazing.
Whether I'm a huge global success or not, these are the days that I'll remember as the ones that made me me. Tougher, wiser, and a hell of a lot more grateful.
left onto Franklin Avenue.
I'm playing my first show at Hotel Cafe tonight, which is a big deal. Hotel Cafe. John Mayer, Katy Perry, a bunch of people played, were discovered there. It's pretty amazing to be able to get to play there.
Soon after, Country Music Television asked Courtney to star in its Empowering Education Tour. One stop was BRCC in New Roads.
Life's like a pendulum. It's a constant swinging motion between momentum and setbacks, financial hardship and abundance, moments when you can barely get out of bed and moments when you feel like you can fly. The trick is finding the balance right in the center. What's your dream? I'll be the first to tell you that going after what you want isn't always easy, but what if you knew you weren't alone? We can do it together.
When we come back, I have the General Lee fired up. We're going to take it for a spin. Plus, DR.NICK. Before you make a big decision, something else to consider for better results. As Weekends with Whitney continues. Breck Summer Camp, where your child's next big adventure awaits.
Where I explored nature. Where I splashed in the summer.
Where I scored the winning point.
Where I reached new heights. Where we beat the summer heat. Where I took a walk on the wild side. Where I used my imagination.
Breck Summer Camp registration begins March 24th. Give your child the adventure of a lifetime. So sign up today. Welcome back to Weekends with Whitney. We had the General Lee fired up. It has been fired up, this one, all weekend. And more of the fun happens today. We're going to show you what's going on in your neck of the woods. It's a birthday bash and likely crash. John Schneider's jumping a swamp in the General Lee for the first time.
People have been asking me for decades whether I jumped the General Lee or not, and my answer has always had to be no. And I thought, you know, I'm not getting any younger, so and we're doing this big event here. We're going to have thousands of people, so why not do it for my birthday?
That's a heck of a birthday
Well,
bash.
yeah, I want to be able to say that I jumped the General Lee.
Professional stuntmen did all the jumps on the Dukes of Hazzard. John did the other fun stuff.
Here, you want to do a 180? This is what we used to do on the show all the time. Ready for this? Here we go, hang on. Eat my dust!
He might fight the dust, too.
This is where I'm going to be jumping the car over this swampy area. But I don't think I have enough distance to get the speed that I'm told I need to go. Because I just tried it. Hang on, I'll be right back. I don't think so. I don't think so. I gotta get like 25 miles an hour faster than that.
Oh, Lord. John moves back his start point.
So we have to be going a little faster than that. Wow! Kind of crazy. Oh, it's really crazy. It's not kind of crazy. You out your mind.
It's certified crazy. Too much speed, and John hits the tree line.
There's a tree huge right in the line of fire. Yeah, it's right over there. And I'm gonna have to talk to the guy because I know once you leave the ground, the car slows down considerably. I mean, you don't have any traction, you don't have any steering or brakes or anything like that, right? So I'm thinking once I land, hopefully I'll still have steering and brakes, at which time I can do what we did, you know, the 90 or the 180, and then I'll be able to just do that to the car.
No way to know until the moment of impact.
There's no practice, there's no rehearsal, none of that sort of thing. I just have to do it.
He he only gets one shot because the General Lee will break apart on impact.
This car is not going to drive after it jumps.
Hundreds were destroyed filming the 147 episodes of the Dukes of Hazzard.
My conservative estimate is 329 General Lees we had for the lifetime of the show.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of General Lees. Because when they land, they don't generally drive away.
But his will likely stay here somewhere.
It depends on how bad it is. But I think it'll be cool just to have, like we have over by the Honeycomb Hideout, we've got that old Packard and we've got that Mustang. I think it'd be cool just to have a General Lee sitting out there in the swamp, resting.
However it ends up, a team of experts will be on hand, including stuntman Jack Gill, who was John's stunt double on Dukes, and stunt coordinator for all the Fast and Furious movies. NASCAR star Carl Edwards will be giving chase.
Carl Edwards chasing John Schneider around as a surrogate Roscoe, getting ready for the jump. It's going to be great.
Bo's Extravaganza is an entire weekend of fun with familiar faces. Tickets start at $20.
Kix Brooks is going to be in here. We'll be doing a concert together. Joel Sunier will be out here. Wopat will be here. My friends from the Dukes of Hazzard. Not only Tom Wopat, but Byron Cherry will be here. The crazy Renee Lawless, who plays my insane wife on the Haves and Have-Nots, will be here. Peter Peros, who plays my only real friend on the Haves and Have-Nots, will be here.
And Duck Dynasty's Mountain Man. Car lovers are in for a treat, too.
We're going to have 300 cars from Tullahoma, Tennessee, in a car show all around that's called Southern Wheels in Motion. We've got Southern Muscle from Baton Rouge that's going to be here. In that field over there, so far we have...
The baseball field?
The baseball field, we have 108 General Lees registered. So there's going to be...
There's that many?
There's going to... Oh, God, there's a lot. There's a lot of them. So we're going to have that field is going to be for General Lees only. We're going to have a General Lee parade. And in the true sense of NASCAR, we're going to be going counterclockwise all around where we just went. General Lees only. So that's going to be great. So if you're here, you'll be able to see a sea of orange going around.
It's a birthday extravaganza, not just for John, but everyone.
This is truly a wonderful place. And we're trying to bring new and unusual things, not only to Camp Singing Waters, John Schneider Studios, but to the whole area.
And you're doing that.
When people come here, a lot of times people say, oh, yeah, I went to camp here, and that's cool. And they say, I can't tell you how many movies I saw at the Broadmoor Theater. So now they'll be able to say they saw Bo jump the swamp in the General Lee.
So if you want to put some crazy fun into your Sunday, you can do it and still get tickets. Just go to johnschneiderstudios.com. And still ahead, Dr. Nick examines big decisions, an important component many of us are not factoring in, as Weekends with Whitney continues.
Maggio, the only way to go. Maggio Buick GMC. Your satisfaction's our specialty. We really deliver on Falls River here in New Roads. Small town atmosphere, legendary service for over 60 years. Maggio, the only way to go. The only way to go, that's Maggio.
9-time winner of the prestigious GMC and Buick Mark of Excellence Award. Well, we all have to make decisions, some of them really big ones, some of them not so much, but what makes the right decision? How do you decide some of those things? Well, Dr. Nick joins us with some things perhaps not to do. Good to see you.
You know, Whitney, I love to wake up early and read through articles or, read what's the latest theories or the latest hypothesis or even the latest studies. And I just read where this, I can't think of his name, I'm sorry, but he was theorizing that all we ever hear about is make the right next decision.
Of course.
That's all you need. Don't worry about anything else.
Make the
right next decision and simplify your life. Well, we think until this guy comes along and says, what? He said that is not at all what we're about in life, because we don't know necessarily what the next right decision is, and that we are bombarded with 1,000 options on the menu as to what is the next right decision.
Absolutely.
Bottom line, he says the real issue is hang out with the next right people. It's who you're with that matters far more than what you decide, because the people you're with will influence you and help, maybe even unconsciously. It's just the energy of being with the right people.
And how do you know who the right people are for you?
And that's where I think he's in a little trouble.
Okay.
It's almost like the right next decision. How do you know? But I think he's basically saying you will know. You'll know who energizes you, who is a positive force, who's virtuous. Who's going to help you live a life that is worthy of living, because we are made for relationships. We're not made necessarily to make decisions. We're made to relate. And he's got this notion, he says, when he goes out to eat, he never looks strongly at the menu.
Oh, wait, because some of them are 4 or 5 pages long and they're little bitty print. It's daunting.
He says he always picks the second item on the menu, and then he's done, because he's there to relate to the people. He doesn't want to sit around and think 20 minutes, what am I going to order?
And that's not a bad idea, because you think about it, it's on the menu because it's good. So just go with number 2 and be done with it.
Well, and even if it's, I think his point is, even if it's a bad choice, you're open. You're like, okay, well, that's what I get tonight, you know. But I'm really, really struck by this notion of who we hang with, and who we.
Well, I'm just going to say, you know, this really reminds me of Courtney Cole's story that ran just a little bit earlier, because when she made that decision to go out to California, it was a very tough, long decision. She had thought about it for over a year. But if we go with his theory, it's that she didn't really have to worry about where she was moving to. It was that she's moving in with the right people, because she is, you know, some friends had her in another bedroom.
Lost a lot.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
yes.
she
was driving an Uber.
Her world had kind of fallen apart. So talk about what would be the next right decision. Yeah.
Yes.
And she didn't get caught in it.
Right. And I don't know, I mean, I haven't met those friends of hers, but you're saying key would be that they energize her, they influence her, they encourage her. That's the biggest ingredient. Didn't matter what city, right?
Yes.
Neat.
And she said, that's where I'm going. That's who I'm going to associate with. I mean, we don't know exactly all the motivation, but my guess would be that she chose the people. And that does go back to the creative class, which is a book 20 years ago, where he says what's far more important as opposed to where you live is the quality of your life. And when you start talking about the quality of one's life, you do have to talk about the quality of one's circle.
Right.
And so I think, don't you think it makes one think, who is my circle?
Yes.
Now, I'm not saying that we would avoid all people, but who's in that circle? Who do I want to influence me, to impact me? Who would I go to?
Sure.
To talk about problems or to discern the next right decision. Do you hear the power of the social interaction?
Yes.
And how sometimes we don't have that as much.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, we sit around on couches looking at our cell phones. I'm not.
Yeah, and look, I'm going to ask you about this too, because even moving from relationships, there are probably a lot of people out there who are considering taking a new job.
Okay.
And maybe it pays $20,000 more a year, and that might be at the top of their wish list, or maybe they'll quit several jobs, but you think who they work with is more important than the bottom line. Would that theory go into that idea?
I think it would definitely go into that idea. Now we're both kind of theorizing here, but my guess would be that if somebody's interviewing someone for a job, it's not just about competence and computer skills. It's influence, it's relational, it's energy, it's what is she bringing to this environment. I really believe that that's happening. And while it's not being stated, It's being like, yes, this is going to be a good fit.
It's the
This is a
unsaid
good
language,
fit.
right?
It's the unsaid. Yeah, it's the unsaid.
Yeah.
It's very interesting about that lady with the California. I hope she makes it, and I bet she will.
She's so talented and courageous, but you know, huge setbacks.
Well, and just one other thing to be clear about. When we're talking about picking the right people that would give to us, remember we're asking again the question of what is it that I want to get? And it's not necessarily wealth or fame or climbing a ladder. It's again quality of life and enjoyment. And you know, at the end of the day, will I say that that I enjoyed the day? Life is worth living. I look forward to tomorrow morning. It's just not about the 10,000, 20,000 square foot or whatever.
Sure. It's great. Thank you for bringing this topic up because it's really great to think of on all fronts.
Well, and part of it is because we love it. We're people.
Yeah.
And I don't deny that. I don't apologize for it. I think the world needs people like us that say people will help you.
Yes. Thanks, Dr.
You're
Nick.
welcome.
Always. You always help me.
How about our pink and yellow?
I know.
We're in our Easter season.
We are, and spring is here for
Spring is
sure.
here.
More Weekends with Whitney after this.
Atlas Foundation Repair, fixing your foundation problems for more than 30 years while preserving and protecting your trees.
Thanks for sharing your time with us here on Weekends with Whitney. You can always follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We hope to see you back here again next week. But until then, we leave you with this. So getting out of the General Lee is a lot harder than getting into it. Oh boy. You need to be a little bit gymnast, maybe some aerobatics, I don't know.